Hi everybody, welcome back to AskAJ. I'm AJ Hanna from Symphony, and we're here to talk some more about intelligent automation. Calculating the return on investment is one of the key components of any initiative involving the implementation of intelligent automation. And while it may sound somewhat consultancy to say, the way in which that's done in each organization can vary somewhat differently. So it depends, I suppose, on what's the right method to use. As a normal matter of course, most people try to calculate from a labor cost perspective, a headcount perspective, understanding what the average labor rate is for a job where automation is being implemented, and then using that to calculate what the ROI is. And that's completely legitimate in an environment where your goal is to reduce cost through headcount reduction. But there are also other ways in which you can assess the ROI or can add additional value to the ROI that you're calculating based on some other factors. As an example, in some cases, the headcount reduction or the labor impact is only calculated in the area in which the automation is being done. As an easy example, if you have a contact center, a call center, whose volume is generated by the work being done in the area in which the automation is being implemented, there may be an additional labor savings in the call center through a reduction in the number of contacts being made for those particular issues. And that's certainly true not only from a volume perspective, but a quality perspective. You may also be looking at things like fines and regulatory fees. If you are not complying with certain regulations or rules that are generating fines, or perhaps your audit and compliance trail isn't robust enough, things that you can also get through good implementation of intelligent automation, you may be missing opportunities for return on investment calculation by not considering the number of fines or regulatory compliance fees that you may be experiencing. Service fees that may be happening if you're working in a service level agreement with an organization, and perhaps for whatever reason, because of the inefficiency in the system, you're not meeting those service level agreements, which means you're either discounting the fee that you're charging to that client or actually paying some kind of charge back to them. You should be looking at those opportunities as well. In addition, in many cases, and we've talked about this before, you can look at non-cashable benefits that could be critical to determining whether or not your automation has been successful. Client satisfaction is a good measure. If you look at, if you're measuring currently the way your clients perceive the work that you're doing for them and the quality of that work and the type of responsiveness you're getting, sometimes that can be captured through something like a net promoter score or some kind of customer satisfaction activity. You could see improvements in your customer satisfaction, and so that's a legitimate measure for you to be looking at. Probably in many cases is an ancillary measure, not necessarily the major focus for your automation implementation, at least not until you get much further down in your journey, where you may be looking at those as new and relevant ways in which you can implement automation without necessarily focusing entirely on hard dollar savings or hard dollar cost out. So associate satisfaction is another one of those areas. If you are implementing RPA in an area where perhaps your turnover rate is relatively high, or you have associate satisfaction concerns, you may see some improvement in those scores as well, as people are then allowed to focus on more fulfilling aspects of the jobs that they have. So, in calculating return on investment or in assessing what your return on investment is for any automation project, you need to think sometimes just beyond the typical labor takeout aspects of it, and think more broadly and holistically about all the benefits that you might be able to get from automation. If you have questions, feel free to drop me a line at AskAJ@symphonyhq.com, and follow me on Facebook and Twitter at AskAJ Hanna, no H on the end, and we'll see you again next time.